Welcome to the Perfect Game Weekly College Baseball Recap. This is the JUCO edition. I'm Brian Sikowski. He's Colton Olinger. We're in chaos right now when it comes to junior college baseball. Several D1 bids to Grand Junction have been handed out, or earned rather, not handed out. D2 we're still working on. We're still working on a bunch of different bids in D1. We are welcoming some of our California and our Northwestern friends to the party this week. Those leagues both started really late as a result of COVID, as a result of deciding how they were going to do things. So when we did our preview content months ago, that we didn't know if they were even going to play. So that's why they weren't included back then, but they are now. Things are underway. Dust has settled a little bit in the starts out west, so we can kind of see a clearer picture and bring some of those teams into our rankings. But yeah, we're not gonna do anything special this week. We are gonna break down this brand new disaster of a top 25, considering how it looked 2 weeks ago and how many new schools there are. But that's the beauty of junior college baseball. And I'm going to kick it over to my co-host, Colt, who is going to talk about the top of that list.
Yeah, we're going to get started this week with new number one. Wabash Valley takes over that number one spot after being at number two there for the last couple of weeks. But 51-3 start there. I shouldn't even say start. That's where they finished the regular season into the postseason now. As they look to continue that for that Grand Junction bid this week. Jump back to number two will be Walters State this week. Right there, can continue to push for that Grand Junction bid as they got a 3-game set with the Andrew College out of Georgia this week. 3 and 4, holding at 3 and 4 this week. We got Crowder and Cowley, and then rounding out that top 5, Florence Darlington, who's already punched their ticket to Grand Junction, kind of looking to see what their matchup will look like when they get to Colorado.
Not a whole lot of movement in that top 5 outside of flipping 1 and 2, but still, those are kind of the schools. Those are who we're hanging our hats on right now as far as ranking teams. In the next burst, Lansing CC out of Michigan up another couple spots. They are number 6. That is their highest rank of the year. We now establish them as the highest ranked team in NJCAA D2 after LSU Eunice and Pearl River had kind of handled that for the most of the year. They have a big matchup with Kellogg, who we'll talk about later on down the list, as D2 continues to wind its way. Eastern Oklahoma State, they're number 7. Colt, we've talked about this before, but it feels like they are on a collision course with Crowder, and only one of them is going to end up in Grand Junction, and that's going to be a heck of a series. LSU Eunice at number 8, they've been idle for a couple weeks as they await postseason play. Sanjak has punched their bid. They are number 9. They are headed to Grand Junction. And then right at 10 and 11, and we definitely did this on purpose, is Central Arizona and Southern Nevada. Both are in that Final Four group out west. Both are they have the potential to get that World Series bid. Central Arizona lost the state tournament to Yavapai, who we'll talk about a little bit later on. But still, those two schools, I would imagine that the bid will come from one of them. Going back over to Colt.
Yeah, definitely. At 12, we jump back into the NJCAA Division II. Pearl River there. They're in that Region 23. They've got LSU Eunice in that region with them. Gonna be a fun battle to watch there is that bid for Edith gets handed out this week there in Mississippi. Pearl River hosting that. So keep an eye on that. And then at 13, we got Alona from Northern California off to a 14-2 start as they join the rankings this week. 14, Miami-Dade, one of those first school actually to punch their ticket as they claimed Region 8 there in Florida. They come in at 14. And then moving on to 15, McLennan. Big matchup this week with Cisco, who we'll get to a little bit further on down the list in Region 5 there as the dust has come to a settle there. And then 16, we got Spokane joining us from the Northwest there. Like I said, off to a hot start as their plays gotten going and their season's underway. And then moving on to 17, we got Shelton, who claimed that Region 22 last week. An offense that really got hot, a club that has always been competitive in Region 22, always a club to keep an eye on, and kind of, took everything they had offensively to really just punch their ticket as the offense got rolling for them late in that tournament.
And that was an incredible Alabama region. Really, and perhaps we didn't give Shelton State enough credit in the preseason. I know we had them ranked. I know you pushed for them in the process, so it's not like there was any disrespect there. But for Chat Valley rather to kind of run the table as the top team in Alabama, and then Dothan was looking really good at the end, and then bam, Shelton State's going to Grand Junction. One of those things that makes JUCO baseball so fun. At number 18, Indian Hills, who knocked off Iowa Western in a sub-regional, ended Iowa Western's season, and will now, amongst other schools, challenge Wabash for that bid out of the Midwest. Number 19, Orange Coast, another California school. This is the SoCal representative this week. They're off to a really good start. That, like I said, that season's been going for about a month, maybe a little bit less than that. And Orange Coast is one of those schools that seems to be pulling away out there in the CCCBA. Yavapai at number 20, we talked about them. They, having knocked off Central Arizona in the sub-regional, push forward to getting a spot in the regional where they will see CAC again, along with Southern Nevada and Western Nebraska. Lower Columbia at number 21, another NWAC school. Welcome to the rankings this week, off to a really good start. Cisco at 22. As we've talked about, it's them versus McLennan in a 3-game series this week for the Junction bid from Region 5. Lincoln Land and Kellogg at 23 and 24, a couple D2 schools that are doing really well. Kellogg will have to play Lansing this week. And Iowa Western, number 25, rounds things out. Their season is done, but they were the highest ranked team at the time of when their season ended. So they remain on the list this week, at least, if nothing more than administratively. And that wraps it up for us. We're going to do a quick one this week. Just take you through this top 25. We'll try and get some more unique stuff going next week when, we have any idea of what's going on. And with that being said, for Colt, I'm Brian. We'll talk to you next week.